Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another NFL mock draft. Before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Uh, Guys, we are on our way to 1,600 subscribers, so if you could help me reach that goal, that'd be super appreciated. Guys, the draft is getting really close now. It's just barely over 2 months away. Super excited to bring you another mock draft here. I'm not going to be doing trades in this one today. This one's going to be completely without trades. Again, free agency hasn't happened, so we've got to kind of do the drafts based on, you know, no expectations of free agency. So just kind of bear with me on that part. And final disclaimer, I'm not claiming to be a draft expert or anything, okay? So don't come at me saying I made a dumb draft pick, one that you don't like, because frankly, I'm not a draft expert. But let's go ahead and get on into it and have some fun. Let's go. So, like I said, no trades, so that means the Bears would have to stay put here at number 1. Now, I want to clarify, I do think they will try to trade at least to, I could see them trying to trade to number 2, if not number 4. But no trades here. We're going to go Jalen Carter. I think it makes the most sense. Texans here going to go Bryce Young, get their quarterback of the future. I could also see them taking CJ Stroud. I could see them really wanting more of like a big quarterback that's capable of taking hits better. But I don't know. I do think Bryce Young is a little bit more mobile, though. So then we have the Cardinals, and there has been some talk lately about them potentially being more interested in Tyree Wilson than Will Anderson. I'm not buying it, okay? Tyree Wilson is a freak. He's really, really talented. But I don't think we can just out of nowhere put him above Will Anderson, okay? Will Anderson has been probably the highest rated defensive player since really like halfway through last year. So I'm going Will Anderson here for the Cardinals. Colts now on the board, and I'm going to say here, as a Panthers fan, it hurts to do this because personally I really want CJ Stroud, but I think he's going to fall right into the Colts' lap, and I don't think they're going to pass on him. So CJ Stroud to the Colts. I think it just makes the most sense right here. Then the Seahawks on the board. There's a few different routes they could go. Honestly, I could see them potentially even consider trades. Personally, something that I have actually started really liking lately is the idea of them getting Tyree Wilson. Usually I had been giving them Miles Murphy, but Tyree Wilson I feel like just really fits what the Seahawks are trying to do. I love the fit. Number 6, we have the Lions on the board. And in all of my past mock drafts, I would usually have the Lions go. So if they don't go with an edge rusher, I'd usually have them go Keely Ringo. Because Keely Ringo, honestly, is still my number 1 corner in this draft. He's really talented. I do still think he deserves to be a high first rounder. Just my opinion. But we're not going to go with him today. We're actually going to go with cornerback Christian Gonzalez today. I think he would be a really good fit in that Lions defense. Then we have the Raiders now on the board, and we're going to go Paris Johnson. Go ahead and patch up that offensive line. Honestly, I wouldn't rule out the idea of them getting a quarterback. I'm not necessarily expecting it right here because, I mean, they could honestly end up getting like Aaron Rodgers. But just kind of with how things are right now, I would say let's expect Paris Johnson. I think that's most realistic. Falcons now on the board. I think they're pretty disappointed that Tyree Wilson is gone, but also still want a good edge rusher. And I think Miles Murphy fits what they're trying to do pretty well. Panthers now on the clock, and they have to go quarterback here. And I will say, I like Anthony Richardson more than Will Levis. I really do. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, which, by the way, the Twitter is the Sports Blitz 6, so definitely be sure to follow me on Twitter. Those of you who follow me saw that I actually put out a tweet earlier that I feel like Will Levis is going to end up being Sam Darnold 2.0, and just everything about him screams Sam Darnold. He has bad footwork. He's a questionable decision maker, if you ask me. He has accuracy issues. And honestly, their builds are almost the exact same. Like, they're about the exact same size. So, just everything about him screams Sam Darnold to me. Now, can some of that stuff be coached to make him better? Probably. But for right now, I'm not really having high expectations for Will Levis. Just my opinion. So I will say I do like Anthony Richardson a lot more, and I think Carolina, is a good fit for him. I really like the idea of having, a good, talented, mobile quarterback there in Carolina. Then for the Eagles, this is going to be a pick that I actually haven't made at all yet. But I'm actually going to have the Eagles take Bijan Robinson. I don't know if they're going to try to re-sign Miles Sanders. In fact, it almost sounds lately like they don't want to. And if that's the case, Bijan Robinson would be an absolute home run for the Eagles. Like, you imagine him and Jalen Hurts in that same backfield. That's pretty scary. That is a scary run game, if you ask me. But then the Titans up here at number 11, and I think they have to go receiver. I mean, they released Robert Woods earlier. Their only decent receiver right now is Treylon Burks, and that's saying something. They have to go receiver. Personally, my number one receiver is Quentin Johnston. I don't quite understand people saying that he is going to be a late first rounder or else even second rounder. I think the dude has insane talent. I think he'd be a really good pickup for the Titans. Now the Texans now up, and I think what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go ahead and give them Keely Ringo now. And I know Texans fans might be a little upset about that, but my reasoning for that is you give Derek Stingley a good corner on the other side of him, pair them up. That's going to be a really, really good cornerback duo for years to come. I mean, I really like that pairing in Houston. Now the Jets are on the board, and I don't know. I'm questioning the Jets quite a bit, because I don't expect them to really go into next year as Zach Wilson as their quarterback. But like I just said, I see Will Levis as Sam Darnold 2.0, and I don't want to put Jets fans through that again. I mean, that was a rough time for Jets fans. I feel like they're going to sign Derek Carr personally. That's just my feelings here. So I don't think we will go quarterback. I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to go linebacker Trenton Simpson. I mean, they already need some linebacking help. CJ Mosley's starting to get a little bit older and can't really carry that core quite as heavy anymore. Trenton Simpson is a freak linebacker, really intelligent, quick at tackling. In a way, which I know this is a weird comparison, he kind of reminds me of Luke Kuechly strictly because of his football IQ. The way he can like read a football play like before it happens is insane. Like it looks like I'm watching a young Luke Kuechly again. So if Jets can land him, that's a big pickup. 14, the Patriots are on the board now, and I'm going to go ahead and give them cornerback Joey Porter. I feel like him and Bill Belichick's system is just a really, really good fit. I really like that. Packers now on the board, and they need more receiver help. They really do. So I'm going to go ahead and just go wide receiver Jordan Addison here from USC. Washington now on the clock, and I'm going to go ahead and actually take a pick that might make a lot of people upset. I'm going to go Michael Mayer right here. I mean, they've had tight end issues for a while now. I feel like Logan Thomas is always injured, and they really don't have anyone decent behind him. So I feel like getting a real true number one tight end for them would help their offense quite a bit. And really, Michael Mayer can be a really good blocking or receiving tight end, and I think they could definitely benefit from both. Steelers now on the board, and we're going to go ahead and go with cornerback Cam Smith. This is another kid I really, really like. Sorry, another Panthers reference. I watched him play with J.C. Horn a lot at South Carolina, and I like this kid a lot. Super, super talented kid. Steelers really need some help in that defensive backfield. Or in that secondary, sorry. And Cam Smith, I think, is going to help quite a bit. Lions now on the board, and I'm going to have them take Brian Breesy right here. They could definitely use some interior defensive linemen, help out Aiden Hutchinson sort of thing. Brian Breesy is really going to help out that run defense as well. The Buccaneers now on the clock, and thinking about this, I don't see that they're going to go into next year with just Kyle Trask. Okay. Now, they could be a landing spot for someone like, I don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo or Marcus Mariota, maybe Jameis Winston. Heck, if Seattle doesn't re-sign Geno Smith, maybe him. I kind of feel like they're going to try to rebuild if they can, and I feel like they'd be willing to risk the pick here on Will Levis. I don't know if they're going to be able to develop him super well, but I mean, I think we'll have to see for the Bucs. I do think that's a pretty solid landing spot for Levis. I mean, going in with weapons like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage. They've got some good weapons to help Will Levis succeed. So if he doesn't work out there, then he's just not the guy. But I think it's definitely worth a shot there for him. Seattle is now on the clock, and I believe earlier we went edge rusher, didn't we? Yeah, we went Tyree Wilson earlier. So I think what we're going to do now is I think we're going to go ahead and go with safety Brian Branch. Now, I know currently they already have Jamal Adams and uh totally forgot his name. Diggs. Quandre Diggs. I couldn't remember his name for a minute. I know they have them. And Quandre Diggs is a really good free safety in the NFL right now. But I feel like Jamal Adams is injured a lot. He's not a bad safety, but he's not playing at the level as he was earlier in his career. And I feel like Brian Branch is just a lot better of a safety net. I feel like he's more reliable. And really, like, you could punch him in at nickel if you needed. Have him and Jamal Adams on the field at the same time. So I don't see any way this pick could be negative for the Seahawks. Chargers now on the board, and we're going to go ahead and go with wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba. I really like this kid, talented receiver. Now the Ravens are on the clock, and honestly, I think they also need a receiver pretty bad. So I'm going to go with Jalen Hyatt. This is another guy I really, really like. Really good deep threat. Honestly, really good at pinpointing the ball and can honestly catch pretty well in traffic. So I think he's going to be good. Vikings now on the clock, and they've got a few solid options here. I think the best option right here would have to be Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame. I think he's probably the best player on the board. Jaguars now on the clock, and we're going to go with cornerback Devon Witherspoon from Illinois. And the Giants are now up, and I'm going to take this pick strictly because of some rumors that we heard recently. There's rumors that the Giants and Saquon Barkley are pretty far away in contract extension talks right now, and it seems likely that Saquon might hit the free agency market. And if that's the case, they're going to need a running back. So I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama. Cowboys now on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and give them... You know what? I'm going to give them Broderick Jones from Georgia. Go ahead and help out their offensive line as much as possible. Bills now on the board, and honestly, I think they need interior O-line. I'm just throwing that out there. Their O-line is not great right now. Okay. I mean, Josh Allen hasn't been quite as good the last probably 6-7 games as he normally is. And I would say part of that is due to the offensive line. So shore up the interior a little bit with Osiris Torrance. I think that improves Josh Allen's play quite a bit. Improves the run game quite a bit. Bengals now on the clock, and we're going to go with Peter Skoronski from Northwestern. Then we have the Saints on the clock, and as I was saying earlier, I'm not like crazy high on Will Levis. A quarterback that I am high on that a lot of people aren't is actually Hendon Hooker. I'm going to be honest, his injury really doesn't scare me all that bad. His age really doesn't scare me all that bad. I think he is going to come into the NFL and be a good quarterback. I think the Saints get a steal right here. I really do. I think he can go into New Orleans and be a good quarterback there. Philadelphia is now on the clock, and I got to actually reference who they went with earlier. Bijan Robinson, that's right. So I think right here, we need to go with cornerback Clark Phillips from Utah. The reason for this is I don't know if they're going to be able to re-sign James Bradbury or not, but either way, him and Darius Slay are getting into the tail end of their of their careers. They're getting a little bit older, and it's about time for a corner to come in and replace one of them. I'm not saying Clark Phillips is going to come in and start year one if they have Slay and James Bradbury, but as soon as either one of them leave, Clark Phillips is a plug and play guy, and I would expect him to still play quite a bit his rookie year. Then lastly for the Chiefs, we have, I'm going to go ahead and give them edge rusher Lucas Van Ness. So there you go. There is my 1-round mock draft. I know there's probably a lot of questionable picks in there. I know a lot of people probably upset with a lot of those. But once again, I'm not a draft expert, just drafting based off what I've observed in the league. But again, make sure to smash that like button, guys, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Later.